Hey guys, it is Tristan with nerdettes-newsstand, and I want to talk a little bit and give my thoughts on this conversation of Tekken 8 versus Mortal Kombat 1. It's been going around for some time now, since the release of Tekken 8, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time to sort of sit with the game and give a fair and accurate, to my best ability, comparison. I've had plenty of time with Mortal Kombat 1, and actually way too much time, probably. An embarrassing amount of time. But we're going to start with Mortal Kombat 1, then we're going to move on to Tekken, and then we will kind of compare and contrast. So, starting right off with Mortal Kombat 1. First off, I'm going to go through the pros, right? Characters. To me, this is a very subjective quality. The characters are far superior. I like them more. I have always been a huge fan of Mortal Kombat, so I'm going to like them more. Now, one people may very easily disagree with here is the story mode. Save for that last chapter, the story mode was much more engaging and interesting to me than the story mode in Tekken. Now, don't get me wrong, Tekken tried to add in some new things. They fell flat for me, honestly. Like, fighting a bunch of guys, something that you're only going to do in the story mode, really isn't something that I find that interesting. Another thing that I really enjoy about Mortal Kombat is the costumes, right? I know a lot of people have had issue with the premium shop, and that's a whole nother video. But the Invasion's costumes and the character tower, the seasonal tower costumes, to me, I really like them. I like what they do with them. I wish there was some better costumes that we got, like for Li Mei. Even her premium one wasn't that great. And then, of course, some of the Deadly Alliance suits and some of the 3D era throwback suits, they were alright. Reptile kind of got the short end of the stick, but for the most part, I like the costumes. The biggest pro I can add about Mortal Kombat is its mechanics. Its mechanics, to me, again, a very subjective quality here, so not as to irritate some people in the comment section. Mechanics, much more refined, much better, and honestly, I can add the practice mode in there too. I think it is done better, and I think there is a lot more you can do with it. The mechanics, we'll get to the mechanics on Tekken, but not a fan. So, cons when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1. Invasion's grind. Like, there's always every season trying to find the new XP house, right? There's always somewhere, sometimes some people don't like Invasion's mode. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I used to stream it. I kind of got sick of doing that. I just went through it and got it done, right? Obviously, the online issues are a big deal. This game should have launched with crossplay, right? Absolutely it should have. There's no excuse as to why it did not, considering it actually marketed that it was going to originally, and then that was taken away. Ridiculous. That is a big failure on NRS. And also, lobbies, obviously, that should have launched with it too. Now, we are getting that, like, in the next day or two, right? But even so, I guess better late than never, but it's pretty damn late. Another big issue I have with Mortal Kombat 1 is the slow and delayed DLC schedule, right? Peacemaker was the only one that was delayed, but the rest are pretty slow coming out, right? We've gotten 3 characters so far, well, almost 3 characters. And it came out in September, so that's a big issue with me. Now, when you talk about Tekken, here's where I'm going to irritate some people. Okay, we're gonna go into the positive stuff first. So, oh boy, I really felt like a more complete game. It absolutely felt more complete, and like there was more to do in Tekken 8 than there was to do in Mortal Kombat. And there's a lot of different modes. There's a lot of different things you can do. Not that all of them are great, and we'll get to that. Like the arcade mode, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Let's be real, it's really not that great. You get those weird, ugly, wee me characters that are goofy, right? I thought that was really silly to add in there. It sort of semi-teaches you, but not really. You can learn more by just going into the practice mode. So I thought the arcade mode was kind of silly. Not something I'll really ever revisit. One big positive, though, for this game, and probably, honestly, its best quality, is the customization. The customization on this, I could spend hours. I absolutely love. Now, in a sense, I do love it, but whoever created the female pants and shirts, not the entire body, but the female pants and shirts, oh my god, they're so bad. But I do love going in there and making different characters look adorable, and I like, going in there like my June I made into Tifa. A lot of these characters many of us have done. So the customization, best quality in the game. The online, very, very good. I haven't messed with it for more than a couple hours. Now, the crossplay, the lounges, everything, you can go in there and download somebody's ghost. Really, really cool stuff that you can do with the online. NRS, take note. Speaking of ghost, the ghost mode. It is not perfect. Not perfect at all. But it is cool. And I like that you have to go in there and do a ghost battle to get, an extra costume or something like that. So I thought that was really neat. I think it is still a learning process for the Tekken franchise when it comes to ghosts, because it is definitely easy to go in there and have somebody that's super high up ranked in online and still be able to beat their ghost. So there was a very, very cool story, though, in case you guys have not seen, of a young boy that lost his brother, and he was able to download his ghost to play it. I will link it down below. It is an incredibly heartwarming story. Check it out. So, another thing I really liked before we get into the cons was the little recaps that they had for the story, because I am new to Tekken. Not new, I played Tekken in the past, but because I haven't played it in so long, it was really, really nice. Now, it was never my forte, so let's get into the cons. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I absolutely hate, and some people are not going to like this, but I absolutely hate that it has an easy mode. That's so weird, right? Like, it's like Elden Ring having an easy mode. It's not normal for a fighting game. It's not as bad as what they implemented in Street Fighter with the weird easy AI modes, but I absolutely abhor that they have an easy mode. And the mechanics, and there is a deep amount of mechanics. Some of these characters, 100 to 200 moves each, which also means that if someone button mashes, they are able to competently and confidently stand a chance without any skill, without any sort of ability. Yeah, they are. And that is one thing that absolutely drives me crazy about this game. All right, aspects of the story mode. I wasn't a fan. I mentioned earlier, when you go in and you're like fighting 5-10 different guys, there was really no point to that. Now, the last chapter was incredible, but that part, some of it felt very silly, right? You've got a bear and a panda. I know that's a Tekken thing. I get it. Just very silly to me. And this is going to be rather subjective here too. Visuals and graphics. It looks really good. It also looks like I'm reading Shonen Jump, right? This is personal to me. I like more realistic looking graphics and stuff that gives you less of a bit of a headache. There's a lot of motion blur in moves, and there's a lot. I'm not a fan, right? I'm not a fan of that look. Some of the characters look really, really halfway realistic. Like, you can see, the pores and stuff on Jin's face or on Kazuha. you can see this, but when it comes to the females, they're like, look like filtered as fuck. So the visuals for me, they look great, but they also look like a walking anime, which to each their own. It's not my thing. So this is a weird way I'm gonna phrase this, but if you've played the game, you'll understand what I mean, right? So the characters are way too complicated for casual players to learn and understand, right? I think I was looking at Azucena, and about, I think, 130 moves, maybe even more than that, trying to learn. But in the same sentence, with them being too complicated for casual players, it also makes casual players able to play them without any skill involved, right? Because you can get things just right, or you can turn on easy mode. Did I mention at all that I hate that mode? Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. So the button mashy types, they're still gonna stand a chance. You don't actually have to have a whole lot of skill in the intermediate part of this in order to advance forward. Now, of course, when you get up higher in ranks, you absolutely do. But in the beginning to intermediate stage, you really don't. You pick king, you go into online, you do some throws, da-ti-da-ti-da, right? Okay. And my last big complaint about Tekken, and it's really bad, another one that's really bad. The character story endings, when I was picking them at first, I was like, oh, these are really cool. These are really cute. Azucena and Lily are gonna start, their own company together. Yeah. Cute, adorable. And then you get into character endings like Martial Law or Steve, and they're just so awful. Like, really, really poorly written. And they were way too over the top, way too goofy, way too silly for me. So I wasn't a fan of the story endings. Some of them were fun, don't get me wrong, but some of them were just downright horrible. Oh my god. And it is funny to see Martial Law jump out and go, I hate rich people. But it's only funny for like the first 24 and a half times, right? And then it gets to be a little bit annoying. So let's talk about an overall winner. I mean, you guys already know, right? It's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, mechanically wise, will win. And that's the one main feature I'm looking at. Tekken is a much more complete game, but at the end of the day, mechanics win out for me when it comes to anything. If the game mechanics are good, that's where my main interest is, right? So Mortal Kombat absolutely wins for me. Don't get me wrong, Tekken 8 has its place, but the game is much more crisp. Going back to Mortal Kombat to record some background for this was actually really nice. It felt clean. It felt like I could see everything going on without getting a headache. It felt real. Whereas Tekken 8 feels like I'm playing a giant cartoon. And I'm still going to play that giant cartoon because I love the hell out of it. But overall, I think Mortal Kombat wins this. I am hoping with the release of Peacemaker, we get lobbies, we get a little bit of balancing, we get some new moves. There has been hints with Quan Chi's new portal. So we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I think Mortal Kombat wins this one. Both fun. Tekken a little less fun. Mortal Kombat wins. Let me know what you guys think down below. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.